Here's to the finest crew in Starfleet.
Mr. McCoy, Mr. Scott, you heard it?
Jim. Captain James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise. Captain James T. Kirk of the USS Enterprise.
Welcome to Greatest Trek, This Old Enterprise. It's a new Star Trek podcast about the original series of Star Trek. Until new Star Trek episodes come back, I'm Ben Harrison.
I'm Adam Pranica. I'm just going to put you on the spot here, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
You know what this episode's about. Do you, Benjamin R. Harrison, think that you would be a good god?
You know, I've dabbled in putting in contacts, and I just, it's not for me.
You take a fistful of pills at a party, like out of the mixed pills jar. Mm-hmm. You can feel like this sometimes.
Sure. Have you been to a party like that? I've never been to a party with a mixed pills jar.
We were just at one at Star Trek Las Vegas, Ben. You were there.
I didn't know that there was a mixed pills jar at it.
You fucking liar.
Man.
It was right there on the bar, buddy.
God damn.
Yeah.
I don't pick up on things, I don't pick up on things till way later.
The very first thing you should look for at any party you're invited to is whether or not there's a mixed pill jar on display anywhere. That's going to set the tone.
I can pick up on it when it's like, it seems like those two keep going to the bathroom for a moment and then coming out over and over again. And now they want to talk about business ideas. I've been able to pick up on that kind of subtlety. But mixed pill right under my nose, that's a purloin letter, baby.
I think this would surprise you very little. I think I'd be a great god. I hope I get the chance.
I know you think that, Adam.
And isn't that the problem?
Yeah.
The ones who become gods are so often the ones who are the poorest at it.
I think the best gods are the ones that have godhood thrust upon them, probably,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd be impetuous, which you don't really want in a god. I think
you'd be a little bit of a Puck's bad boy.
Yeah. You'd be a little Old Testament, I think. You'd be like a little bit of a God of the Hebrews kind of a dude.
I would not be wrathful.
Oh, come on. You'd be wrathful.
No, the moment I become omniscient and all-powerful, who gives a shit about the folks that I dislike? I'm way above that.
You'd just be God that's working on his short game at the the country club all the time.
The moment I turn into a god, I get a country club membership and I'm playing golf 4 times a week. See? That's not a wrathful god. That's fun god.
Yeah, until the guy playing ahead of you doesn't fix his divot, and then you're fucking lighting his ass up with a lightning bolt.
Till I lose a bunch of skins on a gamble to some dude's lucky chip in. Vaporize him on the spot. Yeah, all right. I'm starting to believe, Ben, your take on this. Maybe neither of us have what it takes to be a good god.
Let's just hope that neither of us go where no man has gone before, Adam. It's season 1, episode 4 of TOS on today's episode. And it's kind of the pilot, right? It's like sort of the second pilot of TOS. You can tell by how bad all the sweaters are. You want to get into it?
I do, Ben.
NTC 1701. No bloody A, B, C, or D.
Scotty, ceasefire!
I love the concept of shoot a pilot until you get your pilot. Shoot many pilots.
Yeah.
Fake your pilot until you make it. Kind of, right?
And like is so often the case with Star Trek, they don't really know what the show is for a lot of the time that they're making it initially. So
it's sort of incidentally Star Trek, right? This is more of a science fiction episode of TV than it is a Star Trek episode of TV.
Yeah.
In so many ways.
So the impossible, Adam, they have picked up the distress signal of a vessel that has been missing for 2 centuries.
That's kind of a long time. It kind of predates the sort of space travel that I would assume would get a craft this far away. Like 200 years of time, and here's Enterprise. It's surprising to a lot of folks.
Because they're at like the edge of the galaxy, and it's like, man, these guys went where we're hoping to go. But then I was like, oh, but the galaxy is like thin, right? So like, it's not necessarily that you have to
Don't
go.
body shame the galaxy, Ben.
Well, it's wide from certain angles, but I'm saying like if you're going.
That's why I love watching the galaxy leave. Most of all.
Yeah.
Damn, galaxy, throwing it back.
Are you a spiral man, or are you more of a disc man?
God damn, galaxy.
Because a spiral galaxy can really throw it in a circle, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you go like orthogonal to the disc, you can get to the edge of the galaxy a lot quicker than if you try and like fly away from the core.
So I'm using context to define this. If you go at it in a bird-like fashion.
Yeah.
Ornithologically.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So Kirk and Spock are back to their chess game. They're hanging out, getting ready to receive the thing that has been doing this distress signal.
I mean, we're on episode 4, for our purposes.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have seen is sort of a trend of Kirk winning 3-dimensional chess against Spock kind of utterly, right? He maybe even be undefeated in the episodes that we've seen.
He fucking kicks so much ass. I also noticed, I don't remember if it was this episode or last, but in one of these last couple of episodes, I noticed they also had 3-dimensional checkers for the idiots on the crew.
Yeah, that's for Chekhov. Also happening in this scene, a 3-dimensional ball kicking of Spock. Kirk seems like he may be kind of a sore winner.
Certain you don't know what irritation is?
Indeed.
Kind of spiking the ball.
Lee Kelso radios to let them know that, hey, this thing is not that big. Small enough, actually, that we can just go beam it aboard the ship if we want. And so we do. And we go down to the transporter room and get the debut of Scotty. And you can see his missing finger in the first shot of him.
Amazing.
I guess you can't see his missing finger, but you can see that it is missing, I should say.
I like the way you said it.
Yeah.
You can see that he is missing a finger.
Yeah.
You can speak to us normally.
It's not like they have the finger there. That's on a beach in France, right?
Yeah. The thing about Scotty running the transporter is we know from shots of the transporter panel that you're using fingers to do the sliders in order to transport things and people.
Yeah.
If you're not thinking about it and you're a Scotty with a missing finger and you're sliding 2 of the 3 things or 4 out of 5, you're in big trouble.
You might not be beaming up enough guys.
Yeah. That's not good.
What he beams up is sort of the black box of the ship that went missing. This is just a big piece of equipment with a light on top, and they're like, oh man, can you imagine? Like, this is going to tell us so much about what happened to those guys. And then that light turns on, and they're like, oh shit, it's transmitting.
I have an embarrassing admission here, which is I watched the first 10 minutes of this episode 4 times, and here's why. When this beacon turns on, it's an emergency for reasons not completely clear at this point. After the theme, Enterprise has arrived at Galaxy's Edge where they have found the source of another signal.
Right.
So what I tried to puzzle out in rewatching this is like, there's a second signal that they chased at Galaxy's Edge. And this signal that the beacon is sending is not communicating with that one. There's no relationship between the two, right?
I guess, but like...
Why is it an emergency then?
I don't know. So that you'll like stick around to see what happens after the credits, maybe?
Oh, that's a great call. This is just great TV is what it is. We got to go to Red Alert. It's the pilot.
Yeah. We'll fix it in post. We'll figure out a reason for the... I don't know. When we come back, we're on the bridge. Got Gary Mitchell. he is buddy with Captain Kirk.
If you're one of the other bridge crew that isn't Mitchell, you gotta fucking hate this.
Yeah.
God. Captain's pet.
Yeah.
Gary Mitchell.
It feels like Spock can call Kirk Jim, but Gary Mitchell can like almost get it there. Like he is almost too casual, like a little bit like, hey there, buddy, go captain your little starship, of which I am a lieutenant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
don't love it.
Yeah.
Kirk does a thing where he tells the entire crew on board what he's about to do before doing it.
That's nice, right? Like they never give the lower decks any context for what's going on any other starship.
It's a great point, especially because in so many of these exterior shots, you recognize that the original series Enterprise has 7 windows on it, like total. You are not seeing out a window on Enterprise anywhere.
There's 400 people aboard, and like you probably have to get like ration cards to get window access every so often.
This message on the 1MC is like pure oxygen to some drone working inside the ship right now.
All department heads have been summoned to the bridge so that they can be present for when the entrepreneur leaves the galaxy. And that includes Sulu and Scotty.
I'm the department head of the botany department at this point.
Is that what he... Like...
Chief botanist Sulu.
Chief having one line about math. How progressive this show is.
Come and visit the botany department where every flower is shaped like a hand.
We also have Dr. Piper and the lovely Dr. Daner.
Psychiatry, Captain. My assignment is to study crew reaction in emergency conditions.
You might recognize the actor who plays this character. It is same actor who played Hot Lips in MASH.
Well, I like to think of the Army as my home.
And Diane in Back to School.
You passed all these.
I clocked her more for her voice than anything. She's got a very specific voice.
Wow.
That I like a lot.
Sally Kellerman.
Yep.
She does great.
How about the heat between her and Gary Mitchell, though? Like, right off the bat.
Gary Mitchell tries to kick it to her, and she dumps a bucket of ice water on his crotch immediately. And he talks a little bit of shit to his buddy Lee Kelso.
Walking freezer unit.
And Spock starts listening to these tapes that they got off of the flight recorder from the USS Valiant. And this is very weird. He's like listening to it on a little like single ear headphone and saying what he's hearing on the tape to everybody else and describing like how fucked up and garbled the tape is at times. But the gist of it is basically the USS Valiant left the galaxy, got into some trouble, came back, had urgent requests for information about humans with ESP abilities, and then like 7 or maybe just 6 people died, and boy, were they interested in ESP and the human capacity for ESP, and then the captain ordered the ship to self-destruct.
Spock could have just garden stated these headphones to Kirk, but instead he's like, hey, Jim, you want to hear the best song I've ever heard in my life? And then in a very Spocky voice, he's like, do 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 do.
Computing.
All right, so it's time to leave the galaxy. How fast would you do that, Adam? Because they choose warp 1.
I guess you want to start off a little slow, right?
I guess. I mean,
warp 1 is still pretty fast.
Still pretty fast.
If you're reluctant about your speed of leaving the galaxy.
They start leaving the galaxy at warp 1, and there's like a purple line on the screen out there in the distance, and that's described as a force field. And as they're flying through it, they're like, you know, like the sensors don't agree with each other and the readings are all fucky, but we're going through, and then like the consoles start exploding.
It's a scary enough moment where there's some hand-holding between Mitchell and Yeoman Smith.
Yeah.
And they don't stop holding hands until the bangers stop.
Yeah. Mitchell and Daner are the two people on the bridge that get kind of like full body electroshocked in the way of like a cartoon character where you can see their skeleton for a second.
Yeah.
That's bone.
Spock hops into action, though, and takes Mitchell's station and steers the ship out of there.
And by the time they're on the other side of this purple part of space, we learn that 9 people aboard have died and systems are down all over the ship. The ship is very, very fucked up.
Turns out Gary Mitchell and Dr. Daner are down but not out. We get a Gary Mitchell eyes to commercial here in a very end of the Michael Jackson's video of Thriller kind of way. Like, we push in on his eyes and wow. This reminded me a lot of Captain Patel's eyes when she becomes statuesque.
I was gonna say, and I wondered if Strange New Worlds was directly referencing this, but it doesn't seem like these people have anything to do with like stopping the essence of evil from, before good and evil.
They don't give a shit about that.
No. He's just got real sparkly eyes, and the ship is real fucked up, and they're like, damn, like, so the Valiant, a ship 200 years older than this, also came through a series of bangers like that and survived. So, like, what destroyed them? Like, what made them want to blow up their own damn ship?
Hard to know. It's a mystery. I mean, what kind of Starfleet captain would ever want to blow up their ship so casually?
Yeah.
Like, you'd think that they would kind of rule out that kind of behavior in future starship captains. Like, it would be the last thing any of them would ever want to do.
Right. Only as a last resort. You never see Star Trek captains ordering this.
Spock looks through the medical records of the dead! And also of Dr. Daner and Gary Mitchell, who, it turns out, has very high ESP test results.
Yeah. I like this, that like going through Starfleet Academy, they hold up a bunch of playing cards and see if you can guess what the shape is or whatever.
I'm studying the effect of negative reinforcement on ESP ability.
The effect? I'll tell you what the effect is! It's pissing me off!
Doesn't ESP read to you like the sort of thing that's like quicksand or the Bermuda Triangle, like a thing that got a cover on National Geographic that as a kid you were very interested in reading more about? But that you couldn't quite understand because you're a kid and you're dumb.
I mean, like, nowadays, the only time I ever think of it is when it's like a clue in the crossword puzzle,
Yeah. Is National Geographic still a magazine that you can get? Why don't we know this?
I think it's just a shitty TV channel at this point.
Yeah, you get the magazine now and it's a bunch of fucking reality show recaps. Fucking sucks.
Speaking of, Gary Mitchell's in his bio bed reading probably Nat Geo on his little bedside TV there when Kirk comes to pay him a visit. It's very chill between them.
Kirk clearly doesn't feel like Gary's in trouble because he's not sitting by his bedside, as we got also in that episode of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah.
He starts to, and Gary's like, whoa! Hey!
We have a very familiar relationship, but it's not like that.
Look, that doctor that looks suspiciously like Philip Baker Hall said I was fine, okay? I don't think there needs to be any edge of the bed sitting.
Yeah. He feels great. He's like, never better, actually. And we learn that like their relationship goes back to when Kirk was teaching at the academy and Gary was a student in his class.
And kind of feeding him teaching assistants, like sexual hoagies.
What went on, man? Like this, so the lack of horny Kirk so far has been notable.
Yeah.
But now we're finding out that he had a dick valet when he was a professor.
Yeah.
At the academy.
Yeah, Kirk wearing a scarf, smoking a pipe in the quad, dodging tail. Tail that Mitchell hooked him up with. Jeez.
I guess that explains why they have such a casual relationship on board the ship.
I think a lot about their relationship was casual back in the day.
Yeah.
The tone changes a bit. They they talk about the old times, the good old days. And then when Kirk is about to go, Mitchell's like, hey, better be good to me. Better be good to me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't not sound like a threat, right?
Yeah. He's reading Spinoza, a philosopher who wrote a lot about there is no God. And he says it's simple and childish to him in a way that's some fun foreshadowing.
I don't agree with him at all.
He'd like to go back on duty, but that's not happening. And when we get back to the bridge, Spock is actually monitoring Gary's reading and is really blown away by the effectiveness of the speed reading course that Gary signed up for.
Yeah, the Spinoza speed run is what Gary's doing here.
He's gone full flowers for Algernon, hasn't he?
This isn't the behavior of the tail chaser that he used to know back in the academy.
Yeah.
Kirk, so suspicious that he orders a guard to watch Mitchell.
Yeah.
And in the monitor, as soon as he orders this, it looks like Mitchell's aware because Mitchell kind of looks into the camera that we presume is there. That's fun, right?
Yeah.
This is like that moment in Contact where Jake Busey is seen on the security camera, This is that kind of creep show vibe.
Oh, man. Forgot Jake Busey was in Contact.
I saw Jake Busey is selling his uniform from Starship Troopers.
Oh, man.
For charity. And it is like everything. It's the whole thing.
Wow.
All the kit.
Damn, that rules.
Yeah.
I wish I had money.
Not many of those on the open market.
Yeah.
So in 6 Bay, Dr. Philip Baker Hall pronounces Gary with a good bill of health in a way that Dr. McCoy never would. Dr. Philip Baker Hall uses words that make sense in a contemporary context, absent references to wind or weather or whatever he said in the last episode when he was talking to Charlie.
Almost nothing old-timey about this.
Yeah.
Dr. Daner comes in and is like, hey, Mitchell, you don't need to be a dick about having gotten silver eye or whatever. And he starts demonstrating some of the abilities that he now has. It's not just that he can read really fast. He can also dial up or down his life signs on the healthometer behind him.
This is a really great trick.
Well, he's almost Charlie Xing here.
Yeah. It is really interesting how many similarities they are between that episode and this one.
Yeah.
Given we're back-to-backing them.
Because he does a fun trick where he's like, look, Ma, no life signs, and kills himself for a minute.
He should have done it with a phaser. That would have been more interesting.
Just blowing his head across the room.
Yeah.
But then he comes back. She's now draped over him after he comes back from death, and just interesting vibes here. It's like horniness and brilliance and bewilderment at his own situation.
That combination of brilliance and horniness that men want to be and women want to be with.
Yeah, indeed.
In the case of Dr. Daner.
She's very curious about oh, so you've been reading these books super fast. That's cool. But do you remember anything? He's pick any page. And so she goes to a book and she's like, okay, I'm on page 343. And he says, there once was a shrink named Daner who had a touchy bedside manner. She checked on poor Gary, but she should have been wary because he wound up laying her.
It's one of the most passionate love sonnets of the past couple of centuries.
She's like, you're reading horny limericks in here?
The camera pushes in on Gary Mitchell. He's like, I'm horny.
Spock, this bag does not contain platinum, silver, or gold. I must find it.
Hi, sir. I'm Captain James C. Kirk.
Kirk unit.
Stand by the fire.
Lee Kelso kind of interrupts the fun. I thought that they were, there was contact imminent.
If you're Kelso, you picked the wrong time to go in this room, right?
Yeah.
It is awkward AF.
Yeah. Gary takes some umbrage with this and tells Lee to fuck off and check the starboard impulse packs.
Mm-hmm.
You know that they're fucked up, Lee.
Yeah. Why did you leave him like that, Lee, if you knew they were fucked up? Idiot.
Do you think Lee thought he was joking?
Oh, yeah, sure, Mitch.
I'm not joking, Lee.
I don't, because he specifically says he's not jokingly.
No. Yeah. Kelso fucks off to go deal with that situation, and once he's gone, Mitchell kicks his nuts from behind. Calls him a fool for missing something that a total idiot would have caught.
And the reason he knew that is the image of the fucked up starboard impulse packs was in his mind. And we go to a McLaughlin group.
Issue 1.
Where Lee Kelso's like, look at these fucked up starboard impulse packs. If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have changed them. We would have been fucked.
Hey, Kelso, a word of advice professionally. Do not admit that you blew it like this. Holy shit, Kelso. He's like, hey guys, this could have destroyed the whole ship and I missed it completely. But Gary Mitchell figured it out, huh? So that's neat. Kelso, don't say that. Yeah. Say you found the damage.
How about a little bit of diplomatic language surrounding how the damage was discovered, Kelso?
Yeah.
He is gassing up Mitchell, and Spock is like, that's not Mitchell. Like, Mitchell is no longer aboard. There's a new thing in Mitchell's body, basically. And we learned that, like, at one point, Mitchell was playing pranks on the bridge by, like, moving the controls around remotely and then, like, putting his face up on screen and laughing at everybody, like Dennis Nedry.
You didn't say the magic word.
This tension between Dr. Daner and Spock about Mitchell is pretty heated. Because Danner's take is that this is Mitchell and Mitchell has been affected. Spock is on team, this is not Mitchell at all.
Yeah. She's like, you know, maybe he's the next step in human evolution. Did you ever think about that?
A mutated superior man could also be a wonderful thing.
And that doesn't move the needle for Spock.
Mitchell's that friend in the group that no one can tolerate, except, I don't know, like, your wife is like, he's fine, he's just different. Why don't you invite them out? And you're like, because this person ruins the evening. I don't want to be friends with them.
Yeah. They're talking about how his abilities are increasing geometrically, and they ask Sulu to describe this, and he's like, picture 1 jack-off plant. Now picture 2 jack-off plants. Now picture 4. In a month, you have 1 million jack-off plants. Then what are you going to do about it?
It's a Fibonacci jack-off plant sequence. Where does it end? Me roping exponentially.
You want to talk about what it feels like to leave the galaxy?
Have you ever taken a fistful of mixed pills and then had an infinite supply of jack-off plants go to work on you? You ever wonder why I'm taking my lunch in the botany department? Doors locked from the inside, Captain.
And Kirk's like, Botany Bay, that's pretty fun. Anyways, there's sort of a laser brain Barkley situation going on here. And Kirk is like, okay, not a word to the crew about this. I know, like, we've made a big show of, like, telling the lower decks what we're up to on this ship, but that ends here and that ends now. And everybody leaves but Spock. And Spock is like, all right, Captain, I'm going to give it to you plain. Like, you have 2 options here. You can go to this planet that's nearby, even though we've left the galaxy. There's a planet that's close by, and we can ditch Lieutenant Mitchell on this planet, or you could just kill him right now. Those are pretty much the only 2 paths before you.
After you hear option 1, option 2 has to be a great big surprise, right? That escalated quickly.
And Sulu sticks his head in. There's actually one other option. You could attempt to jack him into oblivion by combining millions of jack-off plants.
Odds are he'd be too distracted by other jack-off plants jacking him off in order to do his evil plans.
Maybe the humane thing to do in this scenario is leave him on the planet with lots of jack-off plants so that he won't be lonely.
I need to make this very clear. Do not leave him with all the jack-off plants, as I also require the jack-off plants during my lunch breaks taken in the botany department.
You think Gary Mitchell's a danger to the ship without jack-off plants? You ain't seen shit, Buster.
Semi-surprisingly, Kirk chooses the Delta Vega option. We're going to drop him off on that planet, and what's weird about this plan is that Kelso's going to go down there to, do all the crystal gathering and the harvesting of the equipment, the panels and stuff to fix the engines. But if possible, taking and leaving Gary Mitchell down there is going to be part of this plan.
Right. And a quick reminder, the ship is also totally fucked up. So part of what they're doing is getting energy and equipment to fix up the ship so that it can make the transit back through that purple stuff into the galaxy. So they're like, okay, let's go get Mitchell. And they go into his hospital room where he is telekinetically having himself a little drink of water. And he knows all about this stuff. Like his powers have been growing exponentially. So like he's aware of everything going on the ship. And he's also like they're not going to trick him, you know?
There's such a quality to like the telekinesis of the benign in TV and movies. Like, if you could do this, would you do this? No. No one's making their water this way. Like, even if you could, you would never, I don't think.
Like, why bother with the cup at that point? Like, have the water just stream across the room from the faucet into your mouth.
I know that's how I would do it. Just aim a stream directly into my mouth.
He could also chuck little fistfuls of lightning now, which is a nice little trick he's developed.
Yeah.
And he is using that to make it clear that he has no interest in going to Delta Vega.
Nor does he have an interest in being killed, because he knows both of these plans that Spock has shared with Kirk.
He does suggest, like, what about a different planet? Maybe not a shitty one, like one that's lush and verdant. Ceti Alpha 5, I've heard it's really nice this time of year.
This is Ceti Alpha 5!
Gary Mitchell's Achilles heel appears to be villain monologuing.
Yeah.
Because when he begins one here, Kirk punches him in the face, and then he and Spock kind of dogpile him until Dr. Daner can shoot him up with tranquilizers.
Yeah. They get him to the transporter, and he's like waking up already, so they have to re-tranquilize him. And somehow he is tranquilized enough to not be a threat, but not so much that he can't stand on his transporter bed.
Perfect amount of tranquilizer. These are why anesthesiologists are so well trained.
Yeah.
You got to nail this perfectly.
Dr. sort of Philip Baker Hall fucking nailed it on that second injection.
Is it Philip Baker Hall?
Oh.
What do you think?
Was it Philip Faker Hall?
Oh, shit. That's good, too.
Folip Faker. Is there a third thing?
I can't figure out the third thing.
Yeah. Hollow? Folip Faker Hollow?
I don't know, man. I think that's too much. We got to walk it back.
Too many hats on too many hats?
They all beam down together, and where they end up is at an abandoned lithium cracking station.
This is such a cool matte painting. I loved this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inside, they're kind of stripping the facility for parts, and Lee Kelso is talking to Kirk about like what they're up to, and Kirk is like, it'd be good to be able to like explode this entire area if we need to. So why don't you, in the midst of all the other stuff you're doing, build a self-destruct switch into this facility, or I don't know if you would call this a complex. Whatever.
Facility? Felicity? One of those?
Something like that.
There's a casualness with which this is offered up to Kelso here that suggests to me that they've had similar conversations like this many times before. Mm-hmm. They beam down to a place and Kirk asks Kelso if it's possible to blow the whole thing up. Yeah, I could do it. I could do that thing you constantly ask me to do anytime we go to a new place.
Strange New World season 5, like they got to start like peppering in. Like there's a guy named Kelso on the ship. He kind of specializes. He's in engineering. He's like he's on the team. He's very good at rigging things for self-destruct.
From here, you could blow up this whole valley.
Gary Mitchell is nearby in the next room behind a force field, and he's guarded by a single guard, and that guard is Dr. Daner. But when he tests the force field, it momentarily shocks the powers out of him, but not long enough.
I do like that they have a brig on the uninhabited planet, like just in case, you know?
Yeah, you don't think they set that up? That was just there waiting for them?
Yeah. So with him like faded out for a second, it's like, oh, like there is a way to de-silver his eyes momentarily.
And that's important because like the longer they wait, the stronger he's getting.
Yeah.
And this was a good test case, right? Like shocking the powers out of him, but it's not long enough to do anything about it.
Dr. Daner wants to stay there and talk to him, and Kirk gets a little bit of a guilt trip about betraying his good time buddy who helped him bag all those babes back in the day.
Federation has invested a great deal of money in our training. They're about due for a small return.
Back on Enterprise, we get a really cool scene where they're transplanting all the parts from this control room into the bridge. And I loved how off-color they looked.
Yeah.
They really look great.
I also just love seeing like burnt out bridge component replaced with fresh bridge component. I feel like for as many times as we've seen the panels explode, this is the only time I can think of seeing a fresh panel put in its place.
I didn't know how bad I wanted this till I saw it.
I know. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Is this why they never did it again? They're like, we already did that. We don't.
Guess so.
Spock's being very logical about this whole situation. He's like we're gonna be lucky if that guy hasn't achieved like full godhood immortality status before we're done repairing the ship. Like, this is a race against time. I don't know if you guys realize that, basically.
I brought the biggest phaser we had on the ship just to make me feel better, just to make us feel better. But I gotta tell you, it ain't gonna work out for us, Captain.
Yeah. So the ship is charged back up. Landing party is headed back. Kirk and Spock are going to go pay Mitchell and Daner a visit. And before they go, they tell Lee Kelso, like, all right, well, if you feel like you might be the last man standing and everything is going to shit, please go ahead and destroy the facility. That's kind of your standing order until you see us next. And they walk away.
In a modern TV show, Kelso would be told this. Kirk and Spock would walk away, the camera would push in on Kelso, and it would be like a big gulp, you know?
Yeah.
But there is no heaviness to this moment in a way that I really needed, I feel like. If we're really going to turn this place into glass, like, and Kelso's going to die too.
Kelso will, like, have to presume the deaths of Kirk and Spock and kill himself in order to save the ship.
Kelso is so oblivious to the gravity of the situation. He cannot even tell when a length of cable like rises up behind him and strangles him over the side of a control panel.
But also, like, he's on the phone with Scotty at the time, and like there's no like, you know, other end of the phone call going, Kelso, are you okay? What happened, Kelso?
I know we know these people, Ben, maybe even their relatives, where you don't really have to do much talking on the phone call. I think Scotty's just going and going and going. And it would take a long time for him to realize that Kelso's not on the other line.
Yeah. I had that the other day when I was super sick. Like, a friend called up and I was like, hey, man, I'm sorry, you woke me up. I'm like super duper sick in bed, and proceeded to talk to me for like 45 minutes. And I was too weak to do anything about it.
I'm just going to say it. That fucking asshole. What? You're down with strep throat, your throat is on fire, and this person proceeds to have a conversation with you for 40 minutes?
Yeah. He's going through a lot. Anyway. Gary is now up to the level of power where he can shoot lightning and walk through force fields. And Daner has developed a little case of the silver eye herself. So Dr. Piper comes in, finds Kirk and Spock unconscious where these two left them. And they have lit out across the valley where this lithium cracking station is.
Could you make any sense of Kirk telling Dr. Philip Baker Hall not to revive Spock? I feel too guilty about not getting this one right. Why don't you just leave Spock unconscious? I'll go try to fix this problem.
Yeah.
Do not love that, Kirk.
Do you think it was because he just wanted Spock's gun so bad and he didn't want to have to talk him out of keeping it?
I think if this is your pilot, you need to make the captain the hero and you got to send him out alone. I think that's as simple of an explanation as it gets.
So Kirk gets this fucking stupid-ass gun. Goes chasing after them.
I love how he racks it. Like he racks it by twisting one of the tubes. Lock and load, I guess.
Like one of the prop guys is just off camera going like, oh shit, we didn't really think of anything for that, did we?
No. Nope. If I'm not back in 12 hours, take the ship and only return if you can bombard it with lethal radiation.
Yeah.
Those are his last words to the doctor, and then he's out.
Mitchell and Daner have started making like a Garden of Eden area on the planet's surface. And like they know that Kirk is coming with his stupid ass gun.
Because Kirk is not quiet about it at all. Like they both have godlike omniscience, and also Kirk is fucking clumsy AF out there.
He seems to be like sneaking around nowhere near them also.
Yeah.
Like there's that scene where he's like crawling on the like styrofoam rocks and they're like flexing underneath him because they're made out of styrofoam. It seems pretty clear that they're not in his eye line. He's not actually like creeping up on them at that point.
You ever go paintballing with someone and there's someone in the group who's so afraid of getting shot, they don't really actually go out into the field and engage. They're just kind of like hanging back. That's Kirk here.
Yeah. Yeah. Daner's going to go talk to him. She's like, just leave us alone. Like, we can develop our godhood here. And Kirk is like, I don't think, like, even if you are left alone to develop this power, you, or especially Gary, will have the wisdom to, like, wield the power. Because, like, look at Gary. He's a fucking asshole. He's always trying to trick me into marrying blondes.
All else, a god needs compassion.
I really like Kirk's argument here that, I mean, not only is he trying to get in between them by making it very clear that, like, this is a one God only sort of situation and not two, but also that there's, like, kind of a nouveau riche situation with Gary. Like, when you're new to the God powers, like, you don't quite know how to act.
Yeah, look at him. Look, he's already wearing, like, a fur coat.
Yeah.
Driving, like, a $500,000 car. What an asshole. Like, tone it down a little bit, Gary.
Yeah. Yeah. Act like you've been there, Gary.
Money screams, but wealth whispers.
Kirk's words aren't getting through, just like Kirk's phaser beam doesn't get through Gary Mitchell's chest. That pops off a great big fight with Chekhov's grave out in the open there, waiting for one or both of them to fall into it. This is like a wrestling match where it's like a buried alive match or something, or like a ladder match, like any sort of one of those special wrestling matches where there's like a thing that happens at the very end.
A lot of arch dialogue about like morals are for men and not gods and stuff, but you're still driven by your human frailty, even with all of your vaunted powers. And Mitchell at this point is like using his telekinesis to force Kirk to like kneel and put his hands into prayer pose before him. And Daner is now sort of taking pity on Kirk and starts to use some of her nascent powers to fight back against Gary. And they get into a lightning bolt checking match that lets Kirk go, basically, from Gary's clutches.
Yeah, and the lightning bolts being shot back and forth weaken Gary to the extent that Gary and Kirk are able to swing haymakers at each other over and over again.
One of the most insane Star Trek fights, like the stuntmen whose hair color isn't even the same as the people they're portraying, tumbling around in the like potting soil that they've strewn around the soundstage to make it look like they're outside.
The CompuBox numbers have them at like 100% power punch. Thrown and landed percentages.
At one point, they tumble into the bottom of the grave and they're fighting in there a bit. And then Kirk gets out of the grave, grabs the gun, shoots a bunch of rocks that fall into the grave and crush Gary Mitchell in there.
He's really lucky the slab-shaped boulder fell last, perfectly sealing.
Just capping it.
Everything below. Incredible.
Yeah.
Kirk tends to Dr. Daner in the aftermath, and she is apologetic for herself and also for Gary. I thought that was such an interesting flourish in her character and in the dialogue here. Gary, who I don't think would ever apologize for what he's done.
No. Which is why he was ill-suited to his godhood.
Yeah. Yep.
Did she die? Or did she just get left there?
Oh, I thought she died.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if that's super clear now that you mention it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, they leave orbit, and she gets put into the computer as dead, along with Gary. That's sad.
If you're Kirk, you gotta hit that button, though, right? You might as well destroy the birdies?
Oh, did they blow up the lithium cracking site, and that's why they die?
Well, if they do, we don't know it.
Yeah.
This was just a suggestion I had.
Yeah. Real sad what happened to those two, but, they died in the performance of their duties. And that's it. That's our episode, Adam. Did you like this episode of Star Trek, the original series?
Captain James T. Kirk, I believe, I would have the prize.
I don't believe in the no scenario.
I think that moment at the end is supposed to teach us just so much about Kirk's ethics or just how he is as a leader, right? It doesn't help anyone to spike the ball on Mitchell's dead body, Like, no one has to know he was such a fuckhead toward the end. He had a long and distinguished career before that of channeling young co-eds to Kirk's classroom, No one needs to know he was a bad god.
He's a real decent fella in that way.
And I think it's interesting how, like, whatever sexual charge there is in this episode has primarily to do with Mitchell and Kirk's relationship back at the academy, and zero charge between Daner and Mitchell after they become gods. It was so interesting how, Mitchell makes the pass that Daner deflects, but I thought for sure that would be part of the subtext of becoming gods together. Like, I guess we're the only ones good enough for each other. Let's make this Garden of Eden and get down to the fucking. There was not a whiff of even non-romantic attraction. It was just absent completely, as if they were not even equals. This is something that Kirk exploits in the dialogue in order to, drive a wedge between them. But, I thought for sure there would be something there.
Did Daner develop her silver eye because of something Gary Mitchell did to her, or because of the shock at the beginning and it took her longer because her Esper skills were just less developed than his?
Wouldn't that be good to know? Because if it came from space versus coming from Mitchell, I think that makes a big difference also.
Yeah.
I really like the episode as a, science fiction story construction, but I think the network was correct in going, this is not a great pilot if we're trying to learn about our characters or about the technology that we have on the ship. All we learn about the future at this point is that ship go fast, ship go far, and we have big phasers and transporters.
Yeah.
That's basically it. What did you think?
I think I agree with you generally. I think not a good introduction to the gang.
But a great episode 4, I thought. This sequence on streaming works really well for me.
It works for me too. Very strange to butt it right up against Charlie X, given how many themes they have in common.
Is this what season 1 of original series is going to be about? Just people turning into gods and then dying?
Yeah. It's called God a Week.
Yeah.
That was the working title of the show. So interesting, weird one. I liked it.
Yeah. I did too.
Want to see if there's anything you like in the Priority 1 inbox, Adam?
Absolutely.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
We have a promotional message here today, Adam. Fun fact, in parachute training at the U.S. Air Force Academy, the jump masters always have the females jump first because females have lower refusal rates and it activates the male ego, so they feel like they have to jump. Last thought, one of the best leaders I ever worked for was an emotional leader like Pike, and I witnessed him crying like a baby the day he relinquished command because he cared so much. And none of us lost any respect for him over that. Loved the show. Respectfully offering alternative perspective on SNW's fragile masculinity as someone who has served 15 years in the military. Wow.
Well, look, my sarcasm is huge, which is the name put in the from column here to this P1. I want to be clear. I think my deal is consistency with Pike. A Pike character that has been largely inconsistent season to season in this specific way. So yeah, I think that's where my main issue is with the most recent season of Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. The writing has been more uneven than the delivery, I want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like that. I don't know. I context is for kings, but also fuck kings. You know, like I think it's good to have a leader that like tells you what's going on with them and why a thing is hard. I appreciate that in a leader. Like I want to know more.
Sure, but in a needs of the many sense, I don't care to sacrifice my life as a crew person based on his feelings for his girlfriend, you know? Make that make sense.
Well, thank you for that. My sarcasm is huge, and I don't want to get into a sarcasm measuring contest with someone who's been in the military for 15 years, because I can only imagine what that does to your sense of humor.
But also, like, my co-host also has a huge sarcasm, and were you to have a sarcasm measuring contest, I think you know where my bet would be.
Oh, well, that's very kind of you, Adam. If you'd like to get a P1 on the show, you know where to go. You go to MaximumFun.org/Jumbotron and set one up today. Hey, Adam.
What?
Did you find yourself an Edward Larkin?
Edward Larkin! There's that scene in the beginning where the senior staff is brought to the bridge to see the moment where the ship breaks the barrier.
Yeah.
This is right after I think the logs were read by Spock. And I think Kirk kind of surveys everyone on the bridge about like whether or not it's a good idea to take Enterprise past the barrier. And this fucking Dr. Philip Baker Hall gets asked by Kirk, what do you think we should do? And he's like, well, the only thing we know is that Valiant is destroyed. That's his comment. This is the fucking dipshit in the department meeting who hasn't really been listening and isn't really sure what's on the table as far as a course of action goes, but has to say something.
You gotta say something.
This was totally Larkin to me.
He's like looking around the bridge for somebody to say a good idea for him to like paraphrase as though it's his original blowhard statement.
Yeah. Yeah, he is dying out there. And he is very, very lucky the lightning starts sparking in the moment after.
He really is.
About you, Ben?
I'm going to give it to Kelso. I feel like Lee Kelso really can't catch a break this whole episode, and his final job is blow yourself up if everything goes left the way we think it's about to.
In the scope of death, from least spectacular to most spectacular, I think we could agree that most spectacular would be hitting a button and turning an entire part of a planet nuclear.
Yeah.
Way on the other side, on the extreme other side, is weird length of cable choking you. What a disappointment.
Yeah. He knows he's going to die. It's just the question of how.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, excited to see what we got next week. We'll hear a little bit more about that in the credits. But first, we got to do our beloved signature segment at the end of Greatest Trek, Adam. It's the Warning Bois segment. This is where we express our appreciation for somebody who has risked their personal reputation to recommend our show in public.
Prepare a buoy and launch it when ready.
Warning buoys.
An emergency buoy.
A warning buoy.
This is a review for The Greatest Generation, our other smash hit Star Trek podcast that was left on Castbox. If you use the Castbox podcast app, you too could leave a nice review, and it would help us a lot. This one's from Laura Bogart. They said, ice cream truck went by while I was listening, and I had a moment of, where's somebody blasting the Kevin Uxbridge song? This show has broken my brain. Sorry to break your brain, Laura, but I think it was for the best, right? Recontextualizing the ice cream truck song in that way.
Ben's apologizing. I am not. I think that's fun. I think that's fun to meet a bit out in the world like that.
Yeah.
Wasn't that great of a song to begin with.
No,
we made it better, right?
Way better.
Yep.
Leave a nice review, and you might hear your words coming out of our mouths on a future episode of Greatest Trek. We really appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
And with that, we are going to leave the rest of the episode in the capable hands of our beloved producer, Wynde Priddy, who will tell you about next week's sexy, sexy episode of Star Trek, the original series.
Do you know something I don't? Is this a sexy episode?
It's the naked time, baby.
Oh!
It's Sword Sulu.
Normally I store my sword in the plants I keep in the botany department.
Bend over. Present to me your scabbard.
Greatest Trek is an Uxbridge Shimoda podcast on the Maximum Fun Network. It's hosted by Ben Harrison and Adam Pranica, and it's produced and edited by Wynde Priddy. Next week, Ben and Adam will be back with a brand new review of Star Trek, the original series. The episode is called The Naked Time. The Enterprise crew catch a virus that removes their inhibitions. As always, we want to thank the members who are helping us keep Greatest Trek coming out week after week. Membership is the very best way to support this show, and setting it up just takes a couple of minutes at MaximumFun.org/join. Thanks to Adam Ragusia for composing the theme music, and thanks to Rob Adler and Bill Tilley for working on the @Greatest Trek social media pages. You can find and follow those online. And be sure to use the hashtag Greatest Trek when you post about the show. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week on Greatest Trek.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows.
supported
directly
by you.